Hello everyone, and thanks for watching CS Academy Computer Science 2210 and 0478. This is a pre-release material for paper 2 problem solving and programming. Now here we have set some expected questions and their answers. So students are asked to focus on these questions and practice on these questions before they appear in CIE examination. Now first of all, you can see that we have pre-release material, and the question set, the material must be in your mind, and on the basis of that pre-release material you are asked some questions, and you have to answer them one after another in relation with that you are just programming the description. Now you can see that, so this is the first part. You can see here question sets, and the description must be in your mind, and then continue with this, so that I'm just demonstrating this to just refresh your memory, that you have this in your mind before solving the question set. Then you have task one. This was the task one, and you have task two, and after this you have task three. So just keep watching, and then you have to just switch over to the question set. Now coming ahead, that is, the first question is, write a suitable declaration of the contents with respect to data types. Basically this question set is designed for 2 marks, and here the answer is character. Basically character is a type of data, that means data type which stores just one character, and you will initialize the word content with single quote. Here I have marked this single quote for character declaration. That means you have to just use this, and then you don't have to do anything other than this. Character, basically you are storing C character for cement, G character for gravel, and S character for sand. So here just one character. To store one character, you have initialized the data type as character, and the word in which you are going to hold the letters C, G, and S is just one letter. That is why this is the character type, and single quote for character declaration. Now question number 2 is this: identify data type store. That means identify data type, and after that you have to store the minimum and maximum weights for cement, gravel, and sand. Now here you have to identify the data type, whether it should be integer, decimal, float, double, real, any type of data, or even string, character, whatever you want to use. Basically you have to identify the data. Now here if you are declaring, let's suppose, cement minimum, so you have to mention that you are using decimal with 0.0, decimal C min, cement minimum, cement maximum. Then you have gravel minimum, gravel maximum, and then you have sand minimum and sand maximum. Now after that, let's suppose if you are if you want to use some other data types such as float or decimal, we have another solution for this. Let's suppose float C minimum 0.0, but the fraction, this point allows you to this is the fraction point. Here you have to understand that why you are going to use float, and here is in decimal. You can see this is the data type, why you are using decimal and why you are using float. So next is your again float C cement maximum, and then you have float gravel minimum, and then gravel maximum, and then you have floats sand minimum and sand maximum, right? So this is the question 2, which is of 2 marks. Now moving on to question number 3. Question number 3 asks you store the price for each sack, use meaningful words. Now here what you have to do, you have to just focus the type, the content, the currency, or even the data type. Now what you are required here, you have to provide the proper assignment for cement price, gravel price, and sand price. Now here we explained this thing, cement price you can even declare as currency C price equals to $3, or you can mention or by using integer type C price equals to 3, because you have to multiply this price with the number of cement bags or gravel bags or sand bags. Accordingly you have to do this. The gravel price, currency price G price equals to $2, or integer G price equals to 2, and sand price, currency S price equals to $2, or integer S price equals to 2. This question is also of 2 marks, where you have to just identify that how do you store the prices in terms of data types or as a currency type. So if you have this concept, so you can even declare as integer, or some languages support currency. So both the things have done for you. So moving on to question number 3, question number 4. It has been decided to store weights in their corresponding data types. Write the correct form of their data types: store 24.9, 25.1, and 49.9 and 50.1 respectively. Now let's suppose if you were asked to store or assign some values to the internal storage elements, such as the variables. Here we have cmin, which is having 24.9. The value you have stored, you have created a flag here that is 24.9, or you have made a constant value that is 24.9. Now you can match this with the input variable, input data. When you input, when you ask the user to input the cement weight, you can verify with this weight that whatever is entered, if it is not equal to this, the weight which is entered, then it will return the error. Now float Cmax 25.1, these two different variables having different values, 24.9 and 25.1 respectively. Now the next part is the float gravel minimum 49.9 and float gravel maximum 50.1. Now same procedure will be used for gravel minimum value and maximum value. And the third one is the float send minimum 49.9 and float send maximum equals to 50.1, right? So now here one part is access, that is float smin 49.9, 50.1. now you could have declared as g minimum equals to 49.9 to save one variable space in the memory. You have to save the memory space as well. You have to be very robust, and then you have to just apply those variables and constant vigilantly that which types of variables should be used and how to reduce the memory size. So you see that all these variables, basically these are three sets of variables, is having different value or different data in it, which will be tested in the later questions. Now question number 5. Declare separate one-dimensional arrays of the contents on uncertain number of orders for cement, gravel, and sand. Now first of all, I need to make you clear that if you are not certain about the total number of elements being declared, you have to just write the simple parenthesis, the word in which you are representing the array with the parenthesis. Now you can see the comments, the empty parenthesis shows certain number of arrays. Now for cement you are storing float, that means you have to store the weight orders. So if you want to store the weight, cement weight, that means in that way you have to store float. If you are calculating the total number of cement orders, you can declare just integer cement, integer gravel, and integer sand. So now you can see that which is written here for storing simple cement weight. So if you want to store the orders, you will straight away declare the array with integer. Let's suppose I'm writing here integer, or you can just write int integer. Let's suppose cement. Cement, right? Integer cement, and here you will be associating with the array brackets, and now here you have terminated this statement with this colon, semicolon, right? Now this is integer, so this integer will store the total number of orders in cement array. So this way you can declare all these things as required by the program. So I hope you have understood this thing, and then you can see the square brackets as well. You can see the square brackets as well. Here you can see the square brackets. So now this is for storing orders. This is for orders. Let's suppose you just want to know the total quantity for each particular bags, cement sacks, gravel sack, and sand sack. So now this is the integer part that where you have to use this way. And then if you are going to calculate total weight for each particular content, so you can use this way. So now moving on to question number 6. Declare some other variables. That means at least 4 variables you are to use in your program. Let's suppose if I am declaring C bags. C bags stands for cement bags. Then type is integer because I have to count total number of cement bags. Let's suppose if I have to calculate the weight for total cement bag. Let's suppose I have ordered 60 cement bags. Now the weight of each cement bag is 24.9, ranges from 24.9 to 25.1. So if I have bought 56 bags or 60 bags, so it must be multiplied by this total number of C bags, and respectively with the G bags and S bags. So these are the 3 different variables which are used separately, and the last one is the integer cement overweight. This is cement overweight. I have just named this to my understanding cement overweight. That is why I have just used 2 words, that is CO, stands for cement overweight. Cement overweight means, for example, if the weight is 26.1 instead of 25.1, so it will be storing here in SCO weight. That means cement overweight. So now these 4 variables I have used other than the variables which we initialized in the earlier part. Now these are the 4 variables. Now I have to mention the use. Now see question number 7. Explain the use of each different variable declared. That means 1, 2, 3, 4. This is also of 2 marks, right? So this is also 2 marks. Question number 6 also 2 marks, and question number 7 is also 2 marks. Now you have to tell the use. Why did you use this variable? Now for variable 1, take input for n numbers of cement bags to C bags. C bags is a variable or identifier, integer identifier, where it will input the total number of bags of cement. Here you can see this. Now variable number 2, to take input for n numbers of gravel bags to G bags, again similar to this, the previous one. And then variable 3, used to take input for n number of sand bags to S bags. S bags is sand bags. So total number of sandbags, how will you calculate? So this is the way you will be calculating. Now the last variable, which is variable number 4, use. Variable 4 use, that means to set the counter to calculate total number of cement overweight. That means how many bags were rejected in a case that the weight was over the required weight. So for cement, so you have used these 4 variables for different purposes. That is why you have to mention the use. Now I hope that you will understand this. We are moving on to question number 8. This is of 4 marks. Using either programming statements, flowchart, or complete task to validate contents by putting your own validation checks on content restriction. Here the word content restriction, that means that you have to fix the letter. If it is not that letter, that means the input should not proceed or the program should not proceed. Now first of all, you have to take input as normal. That means you are going to define content type to content. Here the content means this content is a variable which will input the letters from the user as C, G and S, right? So these are the three letters. For each letter you have fixed, see, you have fixed the condition by using if construct. Content, now content you're checking, the content is a bag in which you are searching for capital C and for small c. Now here let's suppose if content type C and content type equals to, or content equals to C, small c and capital C, then you have to type a procedure for cement. Let's suppose taking input of the weight. If the weight matches, then again another if condition, and then you will be moving ahead. Now else if you can see this content is repeatedly tested. So now if it is repeatedly tested, you have to put else if statement to further correspond to this if statement so that they can continue with this. Content equals to G, again you have fixed the G, capital G and small g, so that if the user enters capital G or small g, so it will respond, and same procedure will be going here. Let's suppose you are to calculate about the, let's suppose you have to take input of gravel weight, here you have to take input of cement weight, and here you have to take gravel weight, and then the third case is else if, again constant if, then you can see this is else if statement here. Now S and small s, again you are searching for capital S and small s. If the content is from capital S and small s, then it will proceed, otherwise it will not. Again the procedure which I have just told you, that is, let's suppose you have to type the input for weight. Let's suppose case 1 input cement weight, case 2 input gravel weight, case 3 input sand weight. After inputting the weight, you have to validate that if the weight is within the range, that means it should accept and continue the process. And in all these three cases, now here you are required to just validate the checks. That is why we are just moving ahead. And now in the else case, now all these three cases have been processed and now it has been fixed. And the else case comes up. Now here you have fixed what? Output invalid content. Let's suppose user types in D, G, E, any of the letters and numbers. So the output message will appear in else case by saying that invalid content. So you will understand, the user will understand, okay, I have input something wrong, that is why it is asking me to just re-enter or re-input the content. So this way you have completed this, and the complement of the if is end if. You have to place end if so that the check is complete. So now this is the requirement of that you have to just write about the validation checks. How did you validate and restrict the letters while inputting, and to process all the content separately. So I hope you have understood, or you will have or you would have developed some expertise by seeing this. So now moving on to question number 9. Now here using either a programming statement flowchart to complete task 2 to calculate total rejection and total correct orders and show output. Now you can see this is of 3 marks. What is required by this question? Let's suppose you have to first take input to the weight, cement weight. Let's suppose we have done the work previously, and then we know this C weight is a weight where you are inputting the total weight. Now let's suppose if the weight does not match here in C weight. Now see the condition. If C weight greater than C min and C weight less than equals to C max, right? Then, or here I could have used greater than equals to the minimum weight, which is 24.9, and then the maximum weight, which is lesser than equals to 25.1. Then output cement weight accepted. Then the counter will start counting that how many correct ranges have been input. So in connection with this will keep on continuing and calculating the total number of correct orders. On the other hand, right, and you can again drive the whole set of code here, but the requires is this correct orders and total rejection, and then you have to show output. Now see, this is the correct order, right? And then else output invalid submit weight rejected, r equals to r1 r plus 1, a equals to accept plus 1, or accepted equals to accepted plus 1. That means this is the counter for acceptance of the correct weight input, and then this is the rejection of invalid or incorrect weight input, right? So this is the rejection, and you have counter total rejection and total correction. So now and if you have completed the cycle by putting if constraint, and then you have controlled the condition here, and now the last one is the show output is here. This is the show output here, right? So correct orders, I can just drive this from here. This is correct order, and then you have the total rejection here. You can just, we can come from this way. This is the total rejection, right? So this is what the thing you have to do by mentioning this thing. And this is output total correct orders message. It could be of your choice, but it should be meaningful, and the total number of acceptance will be stored in A. So the A will produce the total number, the last number. Let's suppose if there are 78 correct orders out of 100, right? So the 78 will be displayed, 78 will be displayed, right? Or if there are 22 rejections, that means the 22 will be displayed from 100 orders, right? So you have made total 100 entries, out of which you have found 78 were the correct orders and 22 were the incorrect orders. So this way you have mentioned that how did you control this. Now I hope you will understand, and this was the part 1 of expected question sets, and then we will continue in the next tutorial where you will understand about from question 10 till onward. And we have 3 sessions of this. The first session is now going to over. So thanks for watching.